Today I have a quick tip for anyone who is trying to unlock inheritance skills but doesn't want to sacrifice a huge amount of BCC just to get Universal Dragon Deeds. As we know, one of the main ways for us to get Universal Dragon Deeds is by farming our daily PvE activities, especially in Abyssal Lake. The problem is, the amount we get from farming is relatively small. If you're only working on one inheritance skill, maybe it's still manageable. But once you start unlocking several skills, experimenting with different jobs, or trying to build multiple characters, you can quickly realize that the Universal Dragon Deeds requirement becomes quite painful. Of course, the developers give us another option. We can simply buy the Dragon Deeds box from the weekly shop. The current limit is 10 boxes per week, and each box costs 30 BCC. Each box gives us 6 Universal Dragon Deeds, so if we buy all 10 boxes, that's 300 BCC for 60 Universal Dragon Deeds. And personally, I think that's extremely expensive. 300 BCC is a lot of resources that I could potentially use somewhere else. So the question is there another way to get the inheritance resources we need without directly buying all those Universal Dragon Deeds? And this is where the job-specific deeds come into the picture. We can buy job-specific deeds from the market, but there is another problem. The price isn't the same for every job. Some jobs are extremely popular, so their deeds are much more expensive because the demand is higher. For example, if you're looking for something like Magician Deeds or Paladin Deeds, you might find the price significantly higher than some other jobs. So instead of immediately buying the exact deed that your inheritance skill requires, I would suggest checking the market first. Look at all the available job deeds and find which ones currently give you the cheapest cost per medal. This is where we can potentially save a lot of Zeni. And the important thing is, we're not trying to collect the cheaper deeds because we suddenly want to become that job. We're using them as a cheaper way to build the inheritance progression before resetting it. Let me give you an example. Let's say I want to unlock an inheritance skill for Rathgraisi, and the requirement is Paladin Deeds. Imagine the Paladin Deed is around 8 million Zeni per medal. If I simply buy the Paladin Deeds I need, the total cost can become quite high. But then I check the market and discover another job's deed is only around 5 million Zeni per medal. That's where the calculation becomes interesting. Instead of immediately paying the premium price for the popular deed, I can calculate how many medals I need, compare the total Zeni cost, and see whether using the cheaper job deed route makes more sense. And this is where the reset comes in. So, let's move to the second part, because this is where the actual trick happens. So let's say I've already bought the cheaper, job-specific deeds and used them for my inheritance progression. Now I don't actually want to keep that inheritance set up. What I really want is to move those resources toward the inheritance skill that I'm actually building. This is where we can use the inheritance skill. Reese currently costs around 18 BCC. So instead of spending hundreds of BCC directly on Universal Dragon Deeds, we're potentially looking at a much smaller BCC cost, combined with some Zeni for the job deeds. The basic idea is, find the cheapest job deed, calculate how many you need, use them for the inheritance progression, reset, redirect the resources toward the skill you actually want. For example, if buying the Universal Dragon Deeds directly would cost me 300 BCC for 60 deeds, I would first check the market and calculate whether I can achieve the same progression using cheaper job deeds plus the 18 BCC reset. If the numbers work, I can save a significant amount of BCC. But there's one very important thing. You have to calculate it first. Don't just see a job deed selling for 5 million Zeni and immediately buy a huge amount. Check exactly how many medals your target inheritance skill requires. Then calculate total job deed cost plus 18 BCC reset and compare that against the cost of getting the Universal Dragon Deeds directly. Also remember that the market price can change. Maybe today, one job deed is extremely cheap, but tomorrow, everybody discovers this method and suddenly that deed becomes expensive too. So this is not about one specific job being permanently the best option. It's about checking the market and finding the cheapest route at the time you're doing your inheritance progression. And honestly, I really like this kind of strategy because it fits the way I normally play the game. I'm not trying to avoid spending completely. I'm just trying to make sure that when I spend BCC, I'm getting the best value possible. I'd rather spend 18 BCC plus some Zeni if the numbers make sense than throw 300 BCC into the weekly Universal Dragon Deed boxes without doing any calculation, especially when we still have new jobs, new cards, new equipment, and new gacha coming all the time. We need to save our BCC for the things that actually matter to our characters. So if you're currently planning your next inheritance skill, don't immediately go straight to the Universal Dragon Deed shop. Check the job deed market first. Find the cheapest options. calculate the number of medals you need, add the 18 BCC reset cost, then compare the total value. If the difference is big enough, this can be a very efficient way to build your inheritance skills while saving a lot of BCC. Hopefully this little trick helps some of you guys. That's all for today's quick tip. Thank you as always for watching and supporting the channel. See you guys in the next video.